neighborhood, in your neighborhood, in your neighborhood. Say, who are the people in your neighborhood? The people that you meet each day.
I'm Dan Israel. I work for the Office of the Reviser of Statutes. I'm a drafting and editing assistant.
Let's talk about what you actually do as a drafting and editing assistant.
Well, I type a lot of things. I proofread a lot of things. And those things would mostly be bills, amendments, engrossments, administrative rules, resolutions. I'm a resolution writer, actually. Whereas, et cetera, et cetera.
Whereas.
Yeah.
Now, to the average, maybe capital outsider, this may not sound like the most exciting job. What do you like about it?
I like...
Or come up with something. Yeah.
I like the people. I like the people I work with, and I like being in this atmosphere of, you know, it's as much as session is very stressful, it's exciting being in the thick of all this.
What do you think are the parts of your job that are the most frustrating, or you wish didn't exist, or you didn't have to do so often? Be honest.
Okay. It's a difficult job, especially during session. The sheer volume is, I think, what most people probably aren't aware of. You know, I tell people that I work on the bills, and I don't think most people realize the ratio of bills introduced to the number that are actually passed every year. So the sheer volume is sometimes...
Give people a sense of the volume. I mean,
the volume, well, we have a work box, and it's very often, you know, a couple of them, and they're very often both full, and then things are stacked on top of that, and then some of the files are, you know, especially for administrative rules, we're talking files that, you know, require probably 2 people to lift. Done.
We talked about your day job. Now I want to talk about your night job, because
that's
really what you're famous for. You are quite the well-known musician. I mean, the things that are said about you, he's Dylan-esque, and your band's, you know, been called one of the most underrated, famous local bands. Tell us about you and this other life.
Well, this other life, it's, for one thing, it's a little harder to maintain this other life during session. So I do scale back a bit because it's just impossible. But, you know, when we're not in session, I really go at it as much as I can, and it is a second job, and it's what I love.
Sometimes it seems like we are miles apart. No place to finish and no place to start.
Dan Israel and the Cultivators. Well, we're a rock band, but we're not like, you know, a lot of the modern rock bands. We're more roots oriented, you know, country and folk influence.
I've heard rootsy pop.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if people are familiar with the Jayhawks locally, we bear some sonic resemblance to that.
Do anything to distract. I might storm off, but I will crawl back.
How about the 2 Dan Israels? Because it seems like there's almost 2 people. You know, the studio.
Superman, I like to call it.
There you go. I mean, how do you reconcile these 2 lives?
It is like a little bit like leading a secret double life, except it's not secret at all. It is difficult. I don't play that many weeknight gigs anymore, which is probably partly as a result of being able to get weekend gigs. Now I don't have to as much, so that's a plus.
Sometimes it seems like there is no more room for another short, exciting little bride and you.
I can proofread my own songs, too. See, you'll notice in my songs, very few grammatical or spelling errors.
I like that. So, I appreciate that.
That's not very rock and roll, though.
Well,
it's supposed to use poor grammar, but anyway.
And our last question, in Capital Characters, we always close out with the same final question about what's the first movie you remember seeing?
No Deposit, No Return. It was a Disney movie, I guess. I don't remember what it was about. I think I went to it from... The first one I really remember is probably Close Encounters. Yeah, I still like that one.
That's a big impression.
Yeah, you know, building the Devil's Tower. I finally went to Devil's Tower last summer, so my life is complete now.
They're the people that you meet each day.
And keep those great Capital Character